Well, the ANC in KwaZulu-Natal has held its PEC, the Provincial Executive Committee, meeting earlier this week. One of the resolutions that came out of that is that ANC-led municipalities should not implement the 18.65% tariff hike. It says Eskom must rather find other ways to find the money. Well, let's bring in ANC KZN Secretary, Mr. Bheki Mtolo, joining us this morning. Mr. Mtolo, hello to you. Good to have you with us on the show. I'm looking for some clarity on a couple of the points. One is, where else would Eskom get this money? Good morning.
Thanks very much. Good morning to your viewers. Eskom does have the money, 70 billion. It's out there. It must go and collect 70 billion. And Eskom can make all of us who are paying electricity every day to pay for its own failure to collect that. That is out there. And then another thing is that there's no economy that has ever worked like this, where inflation is less than 6%. We increase everything. We increase a commodity 18.65%. Where do you think people will get the money? But also, Eskom is failing to understand the devastating nature of the South African society, that majority of the people in rural areas and townships are not working, and they are doing ends meet. But also small medium enterprises, small businesses, they can't. It's going to shut them down. It's going to cause a lot of unemployment in this time. That's why we have instructed our municipalities to approach the high courts on urgent basis to halt the implementation of this thing, and while they are filing review proceedings in the High Court, that this irrational and unreasonable decision by NERSA should be set aside.
And I think many people would agree with you on the implementation and not being put into place now as well. Here's the argument, Mr. Mtolo, and tell me if you agree or not, but the problem is a lot of the money when it comes to tariff increases is actually going to Eskom debt. Now, that we do know. It's still servicing an awful amount of debt, but there is an argument that if Eskom doesn't get this money, they're not going to be able to improve the bit of infrastructure that's still working. What do you make of that argument?
No, but it's their own foolishness. For example, why did they build Mtolo and Kusile far away from mines? Because if you look at Eskom traditionally, they will build a power station close to mines. They built that thing because they were creating business for truck businesses. So they must transport coal far away from mine, and then logistical business. And then they made it to be very expensive to run Mtolo and Kusile. Then they want all of us to pay for their stupidity. We can't. But also, there are a lot of mechanisms that they can do to make sure that, for example, we don't say there must be no increase. We don't say that. If they were increasing with 6%, we will encourage society to go and pay for 6%. It's an affordable and unacceptable increase. What we are rejecting is 18.65% increase. It's unreasonable. It's irrational. In fact, it's nonsensical, to be honest.
To your point, you were saying it's 3 times that of the current inflation rate, and that's the best inflation rate if it was about 6%. It's 3 times that. The Eskom, or the outgoing Eskom CEO, Mr. Mtolo, forgive me, I'm sure you saw this yesterday appearing before Scopa, blaming the previous administration. Some are saying that's a fair argument, others are saying he's passing the buck. What's your view?
If you want to see a useless leader and a useless manager, is the one when he comes in, instead of bringing a solution of a failing system, he continuously remind us of what his predecessor did. We don't worry about that. That's why he was brought in. He was brought in because there was a belief that those who were before him, they failed. But he can't tell us. We know that. What we know, we want him is to do quality maintenance on coal-fired plants of Eskom and make sure that it comes with a clear plan. The problem is that Lucky is going. I don't know where he's going. I don't know why he's not going now, because sooner he goes, that man, the better. I think it doesn't have an interest of Eskom. Let me tell you what he did. The city of Cape Town says it's going out of Eskom. He says they must go. In fact, it encourages them to go. Then you can see, if I can take, for example, a simple analysis that says, let's say that was a retail shop, a big retail shop, and then a big retail shop is told that your big customer is about to leave you. And then the CEO says, that customer must leave me. There's no CEO who runs the company and it's got that attitude. Then you can see the guy is got an intention to collapse and destroy Eskom.
Let me ask you this. Who then should take over? Many energy experts are saying right now it actually doesn't matter who you put into the role as COO, CEO of Eskom. There's just too much damage. But let's imagine there is a person that could try and turn this around. To your mind, Mr. Mtolo, who is that person? Or do we privatize Eskom? Which way would you go?
No. I think I doubt those people are experts. There's no expert that can say if there are problems, they can't be solved. Because a person who says that is literally saying problems can't be solved. Why do we go to universities and start? Amongst the things we start in universities is to solve complex issues at a high strategic level. I may not have a name of who should sort out Eskom, but the country's got a lot of skills. The country's got a lot of skills. Then if they go out and get someone who's got a track record of running institutions, big institutions, they can get that person and bring that person. Because at Eskom, you need a simple management technique that is understanding a high level of performance management, a strategic direction, somebody who can develop a clear strategic plan and a turnaround strategy on Eskom, somebody who can develop a clear performance management with clear targets that are measurable, targets that are specific, targets that are realistic, that are achievable, and say, this is what happened. For example, the president told us that, which we applaud the president a lot. The president told us that the problems at Eskom, they don't need to be fixed in 6 months or 8 months. They are so dire that in such a way that many plants are old at Eskom. 43, for example, the Tabo is old and many others. Then there are units that you need to take them out of production for almost 12 to 18 months. Then you revamp those units to buy lead materials. They are get manufactured, they are tested, they are fun. Then we accept that. Then that's what we accept, which tells us that if Eskom board and the minister, they can come to brief the president, and the president takes the nation into confidence to say, South Africans, these are the problems at Eskom. They're not going to be solved in 3 weeks or 6 months. We're going to put you on stage 2 load shedding. For 12 months or 18 months, we take all certain units, fix them for 12 months or 18 months. Once they are done, they are guaranteed that when they are done, they're going to be there for 5 years.
Let me ask you this, Mr. Mtolo, because you raised a point, and I need to say goodbye to you in a moment, but you've raised a point. I want your thoughts on this. So you would agree then, from what I'm hearing, you agree with what's now being called this proposal of a permanent stage 2 or stage 3. Do you support that call to do exactly what you say, to get on top of the maintenance issue? Do you support that, very briefly?
It's a very best option, because it says you're going to be on stage 2 load shedding, which is not having serious dire consequences, rather than to rush, remove, downgrade, upgrade. Sometimes there's no load shedding. 6 weeks, 3 weeks, it comes back. Is rather we know, because also what it does, it also gives business and South African society general to plan, because now you know that you're on stage 2. You know that you're on stage 2. By 6 o'clock, 8 o'clock, there will be no power. You plan accordingly when you go to work, when you come back to work, how to run. You also plan how to buy diesel to run your generators for 12 months or 18 months. Then it makes everybody's work and everybody's life easy for all of us. But now, you go to work, you think there's electricity, you are told, no, Eskom is on stage 6. You have not planned, you don't have a diesel.
It's at least predictable, I think, is the argument you're putting forward, Mr. Mtolo, and I think many people agree. At least you'll know how to plan your day and your week ahead, especially for small businesses. And I appreciate your time. So the ANC KZN rejecting this 18.65% tariff increase as well, even willing to go as far as court if they need to. My thanks to Bheki Mtolo, ANC KZN Secretary, also supporting this. It's not necessarily a formal call, but there's certainly a lot of talk around a possible permanent stage 2 or stage 3.